Is there only one crocodile in all of Neverland?
Not the giant crocodile.
Yes, but like the way that he says the crocodile, it makes me think that there's only one crocodile.
I mean, I believe in all of the stories there is only one crocodile.
Okay, cool. I know that the crocodile exists and like who the crocodile is.
I mean, my favorite is the crocodile in the in the Disney version who claps in the water. Cook is a codfish. Hook is a codfish. What are
Yeah.
you? A codfish.
What's poppin', y'all? Welcome to Post Finale. I am your host, Ankit Madhira. I'm an actor and a singer who has not seen a lot of films, so to make my friends happy and potentially provide a new perspective on some popular films, I am on a quest to change that. I am never on this quest alone, however. This week, I am once again joined by a director, an actor, my co-host on Flip the Scripts, and one of the aforementioned friends who gets proceedingly very annoyed with me the more and more I don't watch things, Stephan Nieman. Stephan, hello, welcome back.
Hello, friends from the internet. I'm so happy to be here on my own YouTube channel on the other show that I'm privy to.
Yeah. Well, it's not just the YouTube. We have the Spotify, we have the Apple, we have all the lovely platforms. Thank you to anyone who's listening over there.
Yeah. So one thing that we didn't discuss last week, okay, and I think we missed it
What did we
about
not do?
Hook. Well, just who the director was and who the writer of the music is.
Oh no, I didn't. I don't look any of this up, Stephan.
Oh, I should say this is directed by Steven Spielberg.
Oh,
So this is a Steven Spielberg classic. I didn't say that last week. It's my bad. I just wanted to add that in now. But also, other than this being a Steven Spielberg classic, the music is by John Williams.
yeah, that tracks.
I mean, when you're watching a Spielberg film, is it really a Spielberg film without Williams music?
No,
I could
no.
probably name. I don't think I can name any movies that are directed by Spielberg without John Williams music.
I don't know.
Jaws, Spielberg, Williams, uh, Third Planet, or something of the kind. E.T. is Williams, of course.
Star Wars,
Not Steven Spielberg though.
but it's Williams.
It is Williams, and what I will say is Spielberg was best friends with George Lucas, and Spielberg is the reason we got the original cut of Star Wars. So, interesting story. Sorry for taking some time away from us. Interesting story about the
Wow.
original cut of Episode 4 of Star Wars. That is not the theatrical release is not the original cut of Star Wars. So George Lucas had made a whole cut of Star Wars, and it was so bad. Spielberg said, "This will bomb." Spielberg said this will be the worst movie in history. Just because George Lucas had not, the script just didn't make any sense. I think at one point there was even a scene where like Luke Skywalker went to a bar and like
Oh.
drank and like was like sad that he wasn't going up fighting space battles and all this stuff. It started with Luke Skywalker, not as it starts in the movie with like Darth Vader coming in and it gets all scary and stuff. But Steven Spielberg said this is how I would edit the movie to make it better. George Lucas took that, him and his ex-wife now, but his wife at the time, had edited the movie in 24 hours. And that 24-hour edit is the theatrical release of Star Wars.
Fun. I didn't know that.
24 hours. Could you imagine, Ankit, staying up for 24 hours trying to make your movie good? And they did it. And
No, because I've never done that. Like, I can imagine staying up for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I can imagine staying up for 24 hours to make something good, but like, not to that level. I've definitely stayed up for 24 hours and then gotten an A on a paper.
I mean, yeah, I love that story because it just proves not only, well, Disney ruined it, but not only did George Lucas build an empire off of one movie fixed because of Spielberg's suggestions. It's just, he's an amazing director. I love Spielberg. And I'm sad I forgot to mention it last episode. But There we go. That's the one thing I forgot to mention last episode with John Williams' music, which is really important to the storytelling.
Cool. Yeah, no, the music's been really good the entire time. Now, Stephen, before we get into this, I always have my secondary question. And as someone who has been on this show, I think you know what the secondary question is.
Yeah,
But
but
if you
I'm
could
not an
play anyone
actor.
in the film, yeah, you're not an actor. But you have acted in things before.
Oh yeah, I say I'm not an actor, but then I've literally done professional shows as an actor.
Yeah.
So it's one of those hypocrisies. I mean, I like direct. I mean, obviously, I fell in love with directing, and that's my focus. But if somebody asked me to be an actor again, it's a really hard decision nowadays. I think I was asked like last year if I wanted to come in and be in a play, and I was like,
I remember you talking to me about it.
I forget what it was. I think it was like Steve Martin's The Underpants.
I don't know. I
But I
just
was
remember
like,
you
I
being
was
like,
getting
Ankit, do I go be an actor? And I was like, no, go teach. And you were like, okay.
okay. So yes, ask your question. I know what it is already. Who would I play
Yeah.
in the film?
Who would
And
you play?
why?
Who would you play and why? It cannot be Hook. Well, it can't be Peter Pan.
Oh, okay. Can't be
You
Peter
can't
Pan.
replace Robin Williams.
Oh, Robin Williams has to stay in the movie.
Yes.
Okay, we haven't met him yet, but he's my favorite of the Lost Boys.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow,
I'll take headphones off, and then you can tell the audience.
Well, I feel really bad because I'm forgetting the name of the character.
Oh, never mind. I won't even take headphones off.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, Steven, this is sad.
Well, no, I'm just forgetting the name of the character because I think they say his name once and never again.
That's fair.
No,
See, I would have thought that you would have been a lovely and absolute lovely, what's his name?
Mr. Smee.
Smee.
Yeah, my favorite character in this movie is the fat kid Lost Boy. I'm forgetting his name though.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Well, there's a kid in the movie. He's a really big guy.
There are 2 Lost Boys that I have processed so far in how much I've watched of the film.
Oh, that's fair.
So maybe he becomes more important later on, and I don't know him yet.
That's totally fair. I think the interesting thing is,
if you find a picture of him, let me know, because that's not spoilery.
I think the interesting thing, of course, is like, what is he like? There's a cool storyline for the end of the movie. But if I really had to choose someone who's not him, because I'm not remembering his name, I would really love to play just a random pirate. I just think being on the ship and then like being one of those pirates who like gets to throw the guy into the boo box, and like throw the scorpion in, I think would be just like hysterical and really funny.
I feel like you'd have a lot of fun with that as well.
Just
on
either
set.
being a random pirate or Mr. Smee himself. I think being Smee and just having as much fun as possible, because that's all that actor does in this movie. It's just have fun. Mr. Smee.
Oh, it's just have fun.
Yeah, I love the role of Smee. So that's who I would be. I would either be a random pirate or Mr. Smee. But I think when I was younger, I really had a heart for being in part of the Lost Boys.
Yeah, that's completely fair. That's very valid. Now, where we are in the film is the kids have just gotten kidnapped by Hook. Peter doesn't remember that he is Peter Pan. Wendy tries to tell him that he is Peter Pan, and he gets what Wendy is trying to tell him, but he doesn't want to believe it.
No, because why would you believe a 90-year-old woman that you're a fairy tale?
I mean, like, it would explain a lot.
Well, yeah, I just mean, if we take the realism standard of this movie, Maggie Smith, by the way, delivered those lines like perfectly. I just have to say.
Incredible.
But if you take that moment for anybody, any adult, and you're like, my life is a lie. I am Peter Pan. I can't believe this.
Right. I get it. However, that being said, like, Peter, come on, you can't remember anything before you were 13.
I think that's part of the magic of Neverland, right? So that idea, if he actually is Peter Pan, because you don't know what happens next because you haven't seen the movie. But if he
I put
actually,
together in the first 2 minutes that he's Peter Pan, buddy. Come on, give me some credit.
okay, if he is Peter Pan, we can understand the magic of Neverland, because Neverland makes you forget. Neverland is a place that makes you forget your life before Neverland, and you never grow up, and all you know is Neverland. So if Peter then decided to leave Neverland, those memories would be probably locked away into Neverland.
It makes sense. It makes complete sense, right? I'm not
In,
faulting the
in the
movie,
original
right?
fairy tale, I believe that Wendy started to lose memories of home with the Darlings, with her mom and dad, in the middle of the book. There's a really scary scene where she even forgets
Oh.
John's name, I think, if I remember.
I don't think that's in the Disney version.
No, it's not. But there's there's a really good movie about like the making of Peter Pan. And it's like it's really good. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I saw it a long, long time ago. But it's really
Hey, if we're
fascinating.
able to find it, we'll toss it in the description of this video, at least the name, or
Don't give me more homework.
Or our incredible editor can like put the name on the YouTube channel video right here.
Don't give me more homework. How dare you? I'm the one who uploads these.
You're the one that can't remember the name. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, it's fine. But I think the fascinating thing, of course, is just that idea of the fairy tale-ness of it, right? The ritual, the idea that in Neverland you never grow up, but you need to forget everything that happened before Neverland. You need to move past it. Once you're in Neverland, you're in Neverland, and I think that's what the Lost Boys. It's really, that's why the Lost Boys are lost, because they don't remember what happened before. They've just been in Neverland forever. Toodles, who's in this movie, is a Lost Boy. There's that idea.
Right. Yes.
His name is even said in the original Disney film, so it's not a spoiler for you, Ankit, because there is a character named Toodles.
Look, I watched the original Disney film, but it was a long, long time ago.
I think we've all seen the original Disney film and enjoy it and probably can enjoy it more. And I just hope for no more remakes. No more live action remakes for Walt Disney. Please, after Snow White, just stop. Just stop. Apparently, but Lilo and Stitch might be the first one that's actually good because it looks good.
Look. Here's the thing. I'm really excited for Lilo and Stitch, but I'm going to be heartbroken if the fight with the white girl is not there. I'm going to be real upset if there is no, okay, smile. Like, I'm going to be real upset if that is not there. I'm going to be really upset if Stitch as a record player is not there.
Okay, but can I also point out that it's really interesting because Disney, of course, has been doing the whole live action thing for a while. Mulan, terrible. Snow White, terrible. I feel like there was one more. Oh, Beauty and the Beast, terrible.
Hey, Beauty and the Beast is the one that I liked the most.
Well, I liked it the most because of Josh Gad or some other people who were in it, not Emma Watson. Emma Watson cannot sing. Bless her, love her and everything else, but she's just not a singer.
That just wasn't. Look, she was fine. I think she did well in the acting moments. It was solely the singing moments.
Yeah, but it reminded me of Russell Crowe and Les Mis, and we all know how that went.
I don't know. I never watched it.
Good. You don't have to. I'm not even going to recommend it for post finale. Just stay away from it.
I've seen the show on the West End.
Okay, well then you've enjoyed it. I don't want to ruin it for you, Ankit, buddy. I saw it when it came out. I hated it. Russell Crowe can't sing. Why would you?
It was really fun.
Why would
what?
Sorry. Why would you cast a man in a musical that you're actually filming live? The movie they filmed it live. Who can't sing? Javert. Javert is one of the best roles in the musical, and they ruined it.
Yeah. It was really funny because when I was studying abroad in London before I lived there for 4 years, we took a day trip out to Bath, and when we were out there, they were like, "Yeah, so this is where this was filmed. This is where this was filmed. This is where this was filmed," and like everybody else in my class knew it, and I was the theater kid, and I didn't know what they were talking about. I was the one that did theater in the business group that went, and I was the one that was doing theater while also doing business, and so all the other business kids knew what they were talking about, and I was like, cool. this is a fun bridge.
I mean, other than the fact that, let's see, other than the fact that if you look at it, Disney has been making all these live actions. Now we get to see how DreamWorks handles a live action with Return Your Dragon.
Look, I'm gonna
How to Raise a
How to
Dragon.
Train Your
How
Dragon.
to Train Your Dragon.
That better be good.
I know, it's one of Ankit's favorite series.
It is in my top 2 favorite films of all time.
Right. But back to Hook. Back to this movie. Sorry.
No. It's important. We got to come back to this. Anyway, where we're at, right? The kids have been kidnapped, yada yada. Now, Peter Pan is now drinking.
What did you call a murder? And our other thing was like shaboom boom something.
No, it was dun something.
Dun beep.
It was dun something. But I don't remember what the third phrase was there.
Yeah. Finish it for us. Dun what?
It just clips that back in.
Yeah, literally.
Now, anyway, where we're at is Peter Pan is drinking, stumbling around the room. He sees a parachute that Maggie had made him, that parachute to keep him safe. And
it's
he goes
hug.
to open. I know, it was adorable.
It was cute.
It was cute.
The actress playing Maggie did a good job.
Yeah. Now, he goes to open the window and is on the ledge, window, pane, whatever you call it. And I was like, oh, it would be really funny. I want this to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I really want him to believe Wendy in such a way that he is going to try and fly and then just fall flat on his face into the snow and the ground. That's not what happened, obviously, but it would have been really funny.
That's a good... okay. Yeah, so maybe... okay, there's one thing I want to point out that my dad pointed out. I forget who pointed it out. No, I feel like you pointed it out. Windows in London don't open like that anymore. I mean, at least the windows that I've had in London, they're all... Now, I think they've kind of updated windows to be more European, but also most windows in London open up, down. They're not the full French door upstairs.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Stephen. 2 things. One, my window did open like that.
Your window opened like this.
No, it opened slightly down, but then if you twisted it all the way up, you could open it all the way open.
Oh yeah, it's a European window, yeah.
Yeah, like that's how I could climb onto the roof that I wasn't supposed to climb onto, probably. And then
I mean, like Raj upkept the roof.
Yeah. It's not like he upkept the rest of the house. Anyway, but the other thing, we didn't live in houses like this.
No. It was a very nice house. Probably in Kensington, Chelsea, like we said.
Right.
So
and from being in that area, it's not like either of us, like, we were in those areas, we just didn't live in those areas. But whenever I was there, like, some of those houses might have had windows that, like, opened like this.
Now, for those watching the film who've seen Hook, snow in London is a very interesting thing. While Anka and I lived there, I think we had 2 Christmases with snow.
I don't know. I never spent a Christmas there. Well, so okay.
Okay, so no, but the year after you left East 15, the year after you left East 15, the year after, so you were living with Jack.
That would have been 2023.
It snowed so bad, Loughton Station had to close down.
Yes, yeah. No, I remember that year because I came up to your house and Jack and I had to leave early, or else we weren't going to get the last tube home.
Oh, that's right. It was Hanukkah. So one of the really interesting things about snow in London is you would think everything would still work. But the funny thing about snow in London is everything shuts down.
They aren't prepared for 2 things in London. There are 2 things that scare London people in terms of weather. 1, snow. 2, extreme heat.
Yeah.
Either of those show up, the city shuts down.
So the hottest day on record happened in London while I was in America when it happened. I remember talking to Ankit about it when I got back because it was the summer we did Midsummer Night's Dream.
Mm-hmm.
The hottest day on record. I just remember Ankit and I hanging out in my bedroom. Mind you, my bedroom is very small. There's no AC. AC doesn't really exist in London. It's a very problematic thing. That's another reason why the hottest day on record freaked people out, because aircon doesn't exist in most places unless you go to a pub, and the pubs usually have aircon, which is a nice reason to go get a beer.
Yeah.
But I had a fan. I had like a tall fan, and I just remember I put that thing on, plugged it in, had that rolling. Ankit and I realized, wow, it's just blowing hot air.
Yeah, that's all it was doing. It wasn't helping us. And so we shut it off and it was better. No, I remember that day distinctively because I had just flown back to London from India and landed that day.
Oh, that's right. And I was coming back the next week.
You were coming out like the next week, and
Yeah.
then we were going to start Midsummer. And so I remember coming back that day. It usually would take us about an hour and a half by the tubes to get home when we lived up in Loughton. I think it took me 4 hours to get home that day on the tubes because of how slow the tubes were moving.
Yeah, because they were afraid. A lot of people were passing out in the tube stations that day, by the way, because there's no air conditioning in those stations as well. The
Yeah,
other
I mean
issue,
there are a couple that have aircon, but they're few and far between.
the Elizabeth line being the best line in the world that had AC till this
I don't
day.
think it was open then.
It wasn't. It literally opened a week after because I remember you and I had taken it literally as just a fun little gag. We went, oh, let's hop on the Elizabeth line to Liverpool Street, and we loved it.
Yeah, even like there was no reason for us to get off.
No, we could have
like we
stayed
did.
on the Central line, but we were like, ooh, let's take
Let's
it.
go have some fun.
Yeah, we were funny. But the funny thing about that day, I just remember seeing pictures and videos of people in Loughton literally because there's no one has swimming pools in London. It's not a very common thing because it rains enough, you don't need it.
Yeah.
But the people were taking swimming in their trash bins.
It was wild. And the other thing that I clocked that day is like India built for heat. Every room has a fan that actually like can circulate cold air.
Do you remember Joe who worked at the pub with me at Hollybush?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joe, on the hottest day of record, the whole Hollybush gang, including Jack, they had invited me, but of course I was in America when it happened. They all were like hanging out in the garden at the bush on the hottest day of record. Joe was laying down. He is still sunburnt from that day. It has been 3 years. He is still slightly sunburned from that day.
A poor man.
I mean, hey, the sun was beating down on them. He looked like a lobster for weeks.
I do remember him looking like a lobster.
I came into the pub literally like the day I got back, and I was like, "Hi, Joe. Enjoy the sun."
You're so cruel. Anyway, Hook. Otherwise, we ain't getting through this episode again.
It's fun.
We just gotta keep coming back to it. It's all good. It's all good. So, I wish he jumped out and tried to fly. He didn't.
Okay.
And Tink shows up and he calls it, and I love this, a firefly from hell. He tries to hit Tink with wood. Tink grabs the wood and hits Peter instead. Perfect.
I thought it was a newspaper or a magazine. I was sure it was a magazine.
I don't know. It looked like a piece of wood. It might have been a magazine.
Otherwise,
it might have been a magazine.
I don't think the wood on us from Tink would actually hurt. She's strong. She's as strong as 10 men.
Yeah, but it's also not like Peter wasn't like ow when he was getting whacked.
That's true. But she's Mighty Mouse. Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, Tink says that it's me, and that you are him, you're a big him, and not that bad, you're big, you were always bigger than me, but maybe this means that you'll be twice as much fun. And I just go, try half.
Oh, buddy. Okay.
Well, I mean, Peter hasn't been a lot of fun so far. I just feel bad for Tink in this moment.
I mean, look, if he's going to become fun, you got to see him not be fun. Otherwise, there's no character arc.
Look. I get why he's not fun. Let me have the joke, Stephen.
I mean, also, it's Robin Williams. You know how hard it is to get Robin Williams to do something serious and then be like, oh, look, we're going to make him funny now.
Yeah. Peter calls for Moira. Peter then puts on his glasses and sees Tink. They go back and forth and just going, you're Peter Pan. I'm Peter Banning. Peter Pan Banning. And I'm just like, all right. Whoever you are, you're still you because there's only one person that has that smell. And it's like, okay, Tink. Like, apparently Tink has smelling powers and everyone smells different. Sure.
I mean, there's that idea, right? That
it's that same idea of aura.
In Neverland, like Peter brought life to Neverland, right? So if you look at the original fairy tale, Peter himself is loved by everything in the Neverland, right? So that idea that there's an idea that Neverland didn't exist until Peter Pan went there.
Oh.
Now, the fairies had probably lived there before. The Neverland as we know it didn't exist, I should say, till Peter Pan got there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it used to just be a realm for fairies, and then Peter got there, and slowly James Hook would get there. So that idea of there is a really good question of how James Hook ended up there. I think he goes through a hurricane and just ends up
I
in.
think you said last episode that it was a storm of sorts.
Yeah, that's what I believe happened.
Yeah.
But Peter himself made Neverland what it is today. So there's that really fascinating story. So I think that's why Tink can be like, no, I know you're Peter Pan because no one is like you.
Yeah. No, look, Tink knowing that this is Peter, I had zero doubt in my mind. I was like, yep, Tink knows. Let's go. Like, I'm on board. Like, zero doubt in my mind. Like, Tink knows.
And the denial is a really big part of probably why he can't remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, the smell is a special one. It's the smell of someone who's ridden the wind. 100 fun summers sleeping in the trees, adventures with Indians and pirates. Remember, the world was ours. We could do everything or nothing. All I had to be was anything. There was always us. I was beautifully delivered by Tink. I don't know who's playing Tink.
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts. We've had this discussion. I'm so sorry,
sure.
Julia Roberts.
I'm pretty sure. It's a
That sounds
cast.
right. That sounds right.
You haven't even met Hook yet, played by the illustrious Dustin Hoffman.
What do I know Dustin Hoffman from?
Everything.
Okay. You're helpful.
I literally have IMDb on my phone. Do you want me to look at it?
Real quick, because like I've definitely seen him in things, but I cannot place him, and I don't accidentally want to look up something that comes up with Hook. It rarely does, but
Dustin Hoffman was in The Graduate, Meet the Fockers, Kramer versus Kramer, Kung Fu Panda.
I've seen that one. Who was he in Kung Fu Panda?
I think he was the voice of. He's the voice of Master Shifu.
Oh.
He's in Marathon Man. He's in Runaway June, Little Big All the President's Men, Death of a Salesman, Straw Dogs, Stranger Than Fiction, Perfume.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know him from something, but it isn't most things that you have just listed out.
Have you seen the movie Chef?
Maybe? I don't think
Chef. Was he? Have you seen the movie Dick Tracy?
Oh, I have seen that.
He's in that.
Okay.
He's in the movie Finding Neverland. That's the movie. That's the movie that I was talking about earlier. The one that you had told Ant to write the title and do the thing. That's the movie, Finding Neverland. Dustin Hoffman's in that one.
Hey, we found it. Cool.
He's in Racing Stripes, the one about the zebra.
I think I've seen that.
Okay, he's anyway, a lot. Dustin Hoffman's
he's done a lot. I definitely know him from stuff, but most of what you just read to me does not ring a bell.
I will also say the 4 top actors on IMDb when you look up this film are number 1, Dustin Hoffman. Dustin Hoffman is actually higher on the rate on the scales than Robin Williams, who is number 2. But also, it's the only other movie that I know where the villain is named first. The other one is the original Batman movie in 1987, which had Jack Nicholson as the Joker and Michael Keaton as Batman, and Jack Nicholson, who's not Batman, who's the Joker, who is listed first.
This is cool.
So Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, then Julia Roberts is number 3, and you're gonna love number 4 because it's Dante Bosco.
Yes, that means that he has more to do, and I'm happy. Look, I've just really liked Dante Bosco in everything I've ever seen or heard him do.
Yeah, I mean,
he also seems like a very kind person, and I would love to meet him one day.
As we stated, I believe in our Flip the Scripts episodes of Avatar. Episodes are basically in the description down below. You can look up any episode of Flip the Scripts and find our Avatar episodes. Zuko is one of our favorite characters, as we talk about it in the episode. Now, what they did with him in the live action, were we happy with it? You'll have to watch those episodes to find out. We're not going to say it here.
Yeah, the quick answer, we have a lot of thoughts.
TLDR, we have a lot of thoughts.
We have a lot of thoughts. Anyway, so Tink is trying to convince Peter that Peter is Peter. Peter thinks that he's having a mental breakdown. He goes, I'm dying. I'm headed towards the light. I've left my body. And I was like, well, that escalated quickly.
And that's my house right there. It
Yeah.
was a little dollhouse.
Yeah. But I like it truly was the meme of like, well, that escalated quickly.
I
Like
don't think any actor could have delivered those lines better than Robin Williams. I don't think any modern day actor could have done that. Because he's so good at being comedic in the real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It's really hard. There's a reason that we say
comedy's harder than tragedy.
Comedy's harder than tragedy.
You have to be very good at comedy. You have to be very good at tragedy to do comedy, actually.
Yeah. Not everyone that can do comedy can do tragedy. But everyone that can do comedy... No, sorry, the other way around. Not everyone that can do tragedy can do comedy.
Exactly.
But everyone that can do comedy can do tragedy.
It's because we're clowns and we understand it better.
Fair enough. Hey, I worked as a clown for 2 years. It was a good time. I enjoyed it.
I know. I tripped over your box a couple of times coming home.
That doesn't surprise me. It was a big box.
It was a big box, and he would leave it in the middle of the entryway as he went to go get water. And at one time, I just turned open the door and I went.
Look,
Ankit.
That one's on you though, because it would be like I left it there for like a minute and a half while I was filling up my water.
Yeah, no big deal.
But in the middle of the day.
My favorite thing is one time I picked it up and put it where Ankit could leave with it by the staircase, and he came around the corner and he went, "Where's my thing?" I went, "Put it there." He said, "You lifted it?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, thank you," and he left. And I just remember we had a closet at the old place we lived at that we really wanted to have our own storage, and so I yelled at the landlord for like a week, being like, "Look."
It was longer than a week, but
we'd like to use the closet, please. And finally, he was like, "Oh, yeah." So we found a bunch of stuff in the closet that was broken and just didn't need to be there. Like, it was literally like broken bed frames, broken pipes, everything in there was basically broken lights.
We had broken blinds.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. So we cleared it out. He was like, "Can I have a shelf for just my paint stuff?" And we're like, "Fine." So we made a shelf for all of Roger's paint stuff. And we just were like, Ankit's thing, my thing, Norish's thing.
It pretty much just became like suitcases and that one thing that I used for work because it was the best place to put it and it fit perfectly.
Yes, because our rooms had no storage.
Yeah.
Because our beds weren't tall enough to put anything under.
And we barely had a cupboard.
Well, actually, Naresh's bed actually was taller than both of our beds, and he had the room to put stuff under.
Mm-hmm.
My bed was on the ground.
Yeah. My bed, you could put very, very few things underneath it.
Interesting. I think the only thing that I ever tripped over in my bedroom was my scooter.
That's fair. Anyway, back to Hook. So, Peter asks, where they are going, and Tink is dragging him by a bow tie, and then Tink says to save your kids. Everyone knows Captain Hook's got him, and you got to save him. Let's fly. And then they spread pixie dust. Peter sneezes and then launches Tink into the dollhouse. Tink gets upset that Peter has grown up. Tink used to drink poison for him. He used to call him Tink. Have you forgotten everything? Tink is in their feelings. Makes sense. Tink says they are a fairy, and Peter goes, I do not believe in fairies. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that line. I apologize. I literally wrote a note. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I literally have a note saying don't actually say the line. Because how could I? Because we learn that every time someone says that line, I'm so sorry. A fairy falls down and dies.
But if you clap it,
right. Clap. All right, the fairy's alive. We're okay. Okay. So Peter proceeds to say the same line. I will not repeat it because I cannot kill another fairy. Can't have that on my conscience.
But this time he says it louder and
he
angrier.
shouts it.
Yes.
And Tink then falls dead and is falling down the stairs. And Tink says, "You have to clap your hands, Peter. It's the only way to save me." And Peter claps. Tink is okay. Woohoo! Oh. I'm glad that you remembered the clapping bit. Otherwise, I would have had a fairy's death on my hands, and I would not have been happy.
That's okay.
Oh, that was a stressful situation. Anyway,
Romeo's has killed one fairy, by the way, because he only clapped for Tink.
Yeah, he did. I wanted to just give a shout out to the stunt person that fell down those stairs. Well done. I don't know who you are. I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but that was a nice fall down the stairs.
Oh, good. This is what you
As
noticed.
Tink.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so he
Now,
claps. He comes back alive.
Tink is okay, asks, who am I? Peter has no idea. And then Peter goes, well, you are a complex Freudian hallucination having something to do with my mother. I don't know why you have wings, but you have very lovely legs. What am I saying? I'm an orphan, and I've never taken drugs. Missed the 60s. I was an accountant. Love that.
Great line.
Tink flips him over, knocks him out, gathers Peter in a bundle where he is asleep, and then Tink flies them off to Neverland. Toodles sees them go, his smile adorable, and Tink carries Peter all the way to Neverland, and that is where we are going to take our intermission.
Wait. Before we take the intermission, I just want to point out this music is called Flight to Neverland. And it
That's
is
adorable.
the best music, in my opinion, that John Williams has ever written.
It is a lovely piece of music.
I love what he did for Harry Potter because he wrote the original Harry Potter soundtrack. I love what he did for Jaws and Jurassic Park and all this stuff. But Flight to Neverland to this day still hits my heart.
It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. And on that note, to the intermission. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the intermission. I hope you're all enjoying these episodes following Hook and all the fun that Robin Williams and this star-studded cast brings to this film. Now, just a couple of housekeeping things before we get back into this incredible film. First off, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope you are enjoying it. If you would like to support the show and gain access to some bonus content, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/coopforge. So that's patreon.com/CO_OPFORGE. Sign up for any of the tiers. You get access to different types of bonus content like our notes. You get access to our Discord. You can also get access to bonus videos or bloopers and things that didn't make the final cuts of the episode that we actually published live. So all of that lives over on patreon.com/coopforge, CO_OPFORGE. And thank you to anyone who does sign up. All the money that we make from the Patreon goes right back into these shows, helping us not be in the red while we are making the shows and the fun content that we love making for you all. Now, if you want to help out the show in a non-monetary way, that is fantastic as well. Thank you so much. There are a couple ways that you can do this. One, word of mouth is a great way to help raise awareness of the show and just promote the show in general. Just reach out to a friend, reach out to someone who listens to podcasts and is just like, hey, there's this podcast and it's an actor going in and it's a deep dive looking at films and his thoughts, his predictions, but also just a deep dive into the scenes and what they make you think about. And it's a really fun time and a good listen. It really does help us out a lot. Be sure to talk about us and follow us on social media at coopforge, CO_OPFORGE on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And then you can also follow at Post Finale Pod on Instagram. And we have some fun conversations over there. Talk about us, share videos, and just talk about the podcast on social media. That helps us out a lot as well. Now, last but not least, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you who have already done this, anyone who will do this in the future. Just thank you so much, and let us get back into this episode and figuring out what in the world is going on with Robin Williams in Hook. We're back, and it is now the morning, and Peter has awoken, and he calls for Moira, but then he peeks out and he sees that he is in Neverland. Obviously, he does not know that it is Neverland, but we know that it is Neverland as the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Peter starts to walk around. Tink tells him to get back here, get down, and hide. Peter meets some pirates, and they want his shiny booties because he is still in his suit.
Did you notice that the clock was spinning the wrong way?
No.
And fast?
Is that significance of something?
Oh, it's the idea that in Neverland you never grow old.
Oh.
That time is a construct in Neverland.
I mean, time is truly a construct wherever you are.
You broke.
Cool. So I've broken Stephen. Moving on, they start to chase him, and it's a very short chase, but they do catch him. And Peter yells for Tink. Meanwhile, the pirates are grabbing at his shoes. Tink then appears and tosses one of the guys out. Hits another with a large piece of a pit. Yeah. Is what I have written down. Don't know what that even means.
I think it was a pipe.
The pipe makes a lot more sense.
I don't know what she hit him though.
She hit him. She causes Potts to knock out another one, sends another guy flying off a balcony, and then we get the line from Peter going, "Are you related to Mighty Mouse?"
It's a great line.
Great line. Tink also disguises Peter and tells him that if he insists on meeting Hook and desires being alive when doing so, he must do exactly what she says. And then we get an incredible piece of just physical acting from Robin Williams, where he is just told all of these instructions and he does it to a T. Left arm dead, hangs lifeless from your side, lean, and then he starts walking like a pirate.
And drool.
And he sees Smee grab a hook. Smee has a pristine new hook.
Before that, he runs into a guy, and the guy's
he
like,
does run into a guy.
He does run into. He goes, "Arr!" And he's like, "Arr! How's your day with you? Not bad, you?" And it's just he goes into a normal conversation.
I love that. Like even pirates are just like, I don't know what to do for small talk.
My thoughts are Robin Williams was told by Spielberg, "You're allowed to improv," and Williams just ran with it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Now, Peter Pan and Tink follow Smee, and we make it to the docks where Hook's ship is parked in the harbor. And the entire crowd follows and chants, "Here's the hook. Here's the hook." Smee calls out, "We finally meet Captain James Hook."
Played by the illustrious Dustin Hoffman.
Now, he walks out, and he walks and bows. He despises the pulling spawn.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. I always thought that Hook's right arm was the hook, but here it's the left. Is that just me?
That's a great question. I don't know. Maybe they just asked him.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely fair if he was like, "Hey, I'm right-hand dominant. Can my left hand be the hook instead?"
Yeah.
But I always thought it was his right arm was the hook because it was his dominant hand, and I thought that his dominant hand was right-handed before he lost the hook.
In Peter Pan stories, Captain Hook has a hook on his left hand.
Okay. Then it was just me misremembering.
Yeah. In Peter Pan the play, Peter and Wendy novel, the hook is fixed to the right hand, often changed to left for film adaptations.
Oh.
So you are right in the context of the novel, right hand. But you are wrong in the context of the movies.
Okay.
So I think in the animated version, it's on his left.
Look, I'll take what I can get.
Shmee! I just remember that actor was always yelling Shmee. The voice actor for Captain Hook. It's always great.
Yeah. Now, Hook quiets the crowd, and he goes, "Well, my stupid, sorry, parasitic sacks of entrails." Everyone laughs at this, and then he goes, "Revenge is mine." And I was like, I like how all the pirates are very okay with being called stupid, sorry, and parasitic sacks of entrails.
I mean, Hook's the king. He's the pirate king to them.
Look. They probably are all of these things.
And when you like your captain, no mutiny happens.
I will say, Hook, bad person. However, seems like a good captain to his people.
I mean, aren't the worst people also? Well, no, I won't say that. I mean,
no.
he's just a good leader to the pirates. I mean, that's his job.
Yeah. Look, he's got his enemies. That's for him to deal with over there. But like to his people, he good people.
Still a bad guy. But just because you're a bad guy, does that make you a bad guy?
It depends on the context.
Sorry, I just really love that line from Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh!
I think it's Zangief's line where he's like, "Yeah, we may be bad guy, but does that not make me bad guy?"
Dude, I watched that movie one time, like back when it originally came out.
I like that movie. I haven't seen.
I enjoyed it. I just never went back to watch it again.
I haven't seen the second one. All I know is there's that meme from the second one where like the girl's like playing on an iPad in the middle of traffic and she starts to like scream.
Don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh,
I
okay.
know the song Zero by Imagine Dragons, which is in one of the movies. I think it's in the first one.
Probably in the first one.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Anyway,
continue. Wreck-It Ralph.
so Hook says, I have baited that hook, and I am proud to announce that we have his children. Peter realizes that Hook has Jack and Maggie. After he says, I have Jack and Maggie, Peter didn't really have to do a whole lot of digging to find that one out.
I
Hook
mean,
says that
he did send a letter saying, "I have your children."
he made it very explicitly clear. He was not trying to hide the fact that he was behind the kidnapping.
No, if you want a war, why would you stop yourself from having a war?
Right. Now, Hook says that he is going to kill Peter Pan, the cocky boy who cut off his hand and fed it to the crocodile. Is there only one crocodile in all of Neverland?
Not the giant crocodile.
Yes, but like the way that he says the crocodile, it makes me think that there's only one crocodile.
I mean, I believe in all of the stories there is only one crocodile.
Okay, cool. I know that the crocodile exists and like who the crocodile is.
I mean, my favorite is the crocodile in the in the Disney version who claps in the water. Cook is a codfish. Hook is a codfish.
Yeah.
What are you? A codfish.
Now, Hook then, is sorry. Hook killed, stuffed, and made the crocodile into a quiet clock. Well, I was excited to meet the crocodile, but I guess we ain't meeting the crocodile.
Who knows? Yeah. So apparently Hook won. He wanted his revenge for his hand.
I think he got it. Hook also realizes that there is a stranger here among them, and he will need to weed them out. Peter is scared, obviously, but Hook's pointing at a different person who was standing right next to Peter. Peter then gets very lucky when he accuses the person standing next to Peter, so he tries to hide his face, and I was also like, he wouldn't know what you look like.
Well, this person he's pointing at is the person that didn't believe that Hook could do it.
Yeah.
He purposely bet against the captain. I imagine it was like in an illegal poker game that they were having. I mean, illegal. You're in Neverland. You're pirates. It's not illegal. Just a poker game. And he went, I bet that the captain can't do it. And then everyone else went, ooh. And that went back to him.
Oh, yeah, totally. Now, that is what has happened. And so his punishment is to be put in the boo box.
The boo box. No!
Now, the boo box is a chest, first of all. It's not a box, it's a chest.
It is a chest.
Where they just put the guy in there, and I was like, well, that's not that bad. All you did was put him in a chest. And then they dropped 2 scorpions in with him. And I was like, I see the terrifying part of being put in this chest.
Yeah. I really like the boo box. I think it's such a good mode in the movie.
Yeah. I don't know if we're ever going to see the guy that got put in that boo box again.
I don't think so. By the way, the actress who was put in the boo box is none other than Glenn Close in a cameo role in Hook. And it's an actress. It's a female. It's not a man. She is Spielberg went to her and was like, hey, do you want to play a pirate who gets put in a boo box in like the first second of their introduction? And she was down. So Glenn Close, who's an amazing actress, plays a pirate man in this film as a cameo.
Hey, sometimes those are the most fun things to do. It's Glenn
Close went hard. I just want to point that out. She went for it and then some.
Oh yeah. It was a good bit. It was a good bit. Now, then what we learn after the boo box, Jack and Maggie are hoisted up and they are in a net. Peter bursts out saying, those are my kids, gets grabbed by the henchman. He tells Hook he wants them out in 1 minute or he better get an attorney and hopes they are at least as good as me. Based on what we've seen, Peter, you ain't that good of an attorney.
I mean, we haven't seen him be a lawyer, really, but he's not a good dad.
He's definitely not a good dad, which does not give me high hopes on him as an attorney.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe not.
I don't know. We've never seen him be an attorney.
Corporate
Now,
law.
yeah. Also, he's the chairman of like a company. He's not a lawyer.
Well, a lot of lawyers, CEOs of boards are usually lawyers.
Oh, okay, fine. Maybe he is good at his job. I don't know. He's just a bad father. That's all I know. Now, Hook is confused on who Peter Pan is, and he's like, I am Peter Banning, and I want my children. Hook does not believe that this could possibly be Peter Pan.
You're
His
Peter? No. Yes, I'm Peter Benny. No.
yes, no.
And I love how Shmi has to come on down. I'm sorry, I'm taking your next bit on, but Shmi comes on down and like covers his mouth so he can be like, no, it's all there. It all makes sense. It all fits. He even has, and then they open up his shirt to show the scar. See, that's where you got him. And Robin Williams is like, well, that's where I got my appendix out.
Yeah, but like the things that like Smee has to prove that it is Peter is he's like, I have a sworn affidavit by T. Bell. I have his medical history and his dental records.
Yeah, I love Shmi. He's the great character right there.
He's such a good character.
He's also I think he was like, I have to prove it.
Yeah. He was like, no. I do not want to go into the boo box. I did my job.
Exactly.
Now, like honestly, if I were to play anyone in this, I would want to play. From what little I've seen, I'd want to play Rufio,
Oh yeah, great character.
or I'd want to play Smee.
Yeah, great characters. They're like literally probably have the most fun in this film.
Yeah. I'd want to play the two of them. Now,
No,
Hook does not believe that this is Peter Pan, and isn't even sure if this is a shadow of Peter Pan.
so the funny thing is, and then I think this happens next, is Peter goes to offer him money to save his children. He's like, how much do you want?
Yep, that's literally the next thing I have.
And
is-
Hook shoots the checkbook, and it
It's
goes
incredible.
through it, and it hits one of his pirates, and the pirate goes, ooh, and goes, dun dun.
Dun dun. Oops. Anyway, now
Dun dun whoops. That was it, dun dun whoops.
was it dun dun whoops?
Dun dun whoops.
I don't remember what I do.
Dun dun whoops.
That recording happened last week.
2 days ago. Well, it felt like 8 days ago, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot has happened, but it might have been 2 days ago. I don't remember when this was now.
Sunday.
No, it wasn't Sunday.
Saturday. Friday? Friday.
A day.
Friday.
Friday sounds right.
Friday.
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 Anyway, so Tink watches all of this go down. Hook has then raised the kids up into the sky, tells Peter to fly up there, and if he touches the fingers of your children, I will set them free. And Peter whispers that he has a problem with heights. He asks for a hand, and Hook just goes, I already have.
Ooh. That was a good line.
It was a good line.
Very good line.
Hook laughs at Peter, tells him to fly and stop pretending. All he has to do is touch his kids' hands, but Peter is scared and he can't get close enough to his kids off of this banister, or whatever it's called.
The mast?
The mast. He climbs up there. He can't get there. Nobody understands what is going on. Smee then finally gives us some plot and is like, he's been away from Neverland for so long that his mind has been gentrified. He's forgotten everything. Jack and Maggie look at their dad. They really don't want him to give up. And they're just like, I just want to go home.
I love how Shmi says words that aren't. He has so many malapropisms. I love the word malaprop, by the way. There's even a character in, I think it's Importance of Being Earnest, named Mrs. Malaprop. Now, the idea of a malaprop, of course, is the idea that somebody says a word, they have no idea what it means, but they say it anyway because it makes them sound smart.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Goku in Team 4-Star Dragon Ball Z Abridged. You'll know what I'm talking about if you know it. Episode 10.
Anyway, so now Jack and Maggie just want to go home. Hook announces that he will cancel the war. Kill them all. He never wants to hear the name Peter Pan again. Tink then comes in and interrupts and Hooks and asks if he wants to be remembered as a bully or a great warrior that defeated Peter Pan. And he thinks about it for a minute and he goes, yeah, I think I'd be very okay with that.
That is not Pan.
Right. He's just like, that is not Pan. And he's just like, I'm okay with being remembered as a bully. I'm good with that. Like, it's okay. Tink then asks for 1 week to get Peter in shape. Then Hook can have his dirty old war. Tink says that Hook has promised War of the Century. His whole life has been building to this moment. Mortal Kombat. Glory. Hook versus Pan. That is not Pan. Hook and Tink agree, finally, after going back and forth, on 3 days to get Peter into shape. Hook says that Tink better deliver because no amount of clapping will bring her back from where he will send her.
Ooh.
Another really good line.
That's what I mean. Dustin Hoffman just has the lines of the century in this movie.
Yeah. Now, Peter accidentally gets knocked overboard, and there he gets kissed by some mermaids. He seems very happy while he's being kissed by these mermaids. Seems like he might be remembering. It also looks like they're giving him air.
Drowning, and so they're giving him air. They're giving him oxygen.
Yeah. It also does look like they're giving him air. They drag him down into a shell. Okay.
And the shell is an elevator to the top.
Yeah. Now, Peter has been raised to the top of a cliff where he looks out and sees Neverland. He then proceeds to fall, scares some penguins, and seems to come back to what I am believing is their old hideout, and this is where all the Lost Boys are, is my guess.
Yeah.
He gets caught in a booby trap, and he's like, I believe, and he's like, get me out of here. Tink flies around and tells all the Lost Boys to wake up and that Peter is back. The Lost Boys say that this isn't Peter, that he's old and fat and an old fat grandpa man.
Old fat grandpa man.
How dare you? And then in comes Rufio, who, from the beginning, comes in on a windsurfing skateboard, swings on some vines, and flips down. And that's how we are introduced to Rufio. I'm all for it. I love this guy.
Rufio. Oh!
I love this guy.
It's great. It's Dante Bosco as a young man.
One of my favorite actors.
He's doing good, and he has the red mohawk as well. It's just, he's great. I love this moment because it really is the Lost Boys at their highest peak.
Yeah, it is so much fun, and I apologize in advance if I miss something, because we're about to get into an entire chase sequence. And I did my best.
Hey.
But there was a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
Now, Rufio pulls out a sword and tells Peter, Now, Rufio pulls the sword and Peter tells him to put the sword down and that he isn't old enough for that. Calls him, just a young kid. And then is like, what is this? Is this some Lord of the Flies preschool? Incredible line. Fantastic. Definitely an ad-lib from Robin Williams.
Definitely.
Rufio, we learn, is in charge. All the grown-ups are pirates, and they kill pirates. And so they go in to kill Peter, and he goes, whoa, I'm not a pirate. I'm a lawyer. And then they go, kill the lawyer.
Not that type of lawyer.
And we give chase. In this chase, he is shot by candy apples. Rufio is following behind on his windboard, is what I'm going to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Tink says, listen, he's married Wendy's granddaughter, and he's just out of shape. We have to make him bangarang?
Bangarang.
We have to make him a bangarang. What's a bangarang?
It's the Peter Pan thing. We got to make him bangarang. It's just what the Lost Boys call good. It's like a cool thing.
Okay, cool. So Tink's trying, and I did have a point. He seems to be in decent shape because he's currently outrunning Rufio on a windboard.
I think it's on.
And then I hit play, and I go, "Oh no, Rufio caught him." Okay,
it's on purpose though. Rufio wants to give him a little hope.
Yeah.
Remember, the Lost Boys are all about having fun in games. If they catch him immediately, it's not fun. Nor is it a game.
It's not fun in games. There's no messing around with them. Right. But I was like, he seems to be in decent shape. He seems to be doing okay. Nope, Rufio's caught him, and he's now fallen onto a platform.
Yeah.
Tink asks Rufio to teach him, and we got to make him remember. Rufio hits Tink. What the hell? Rufio was about to swear, and then I caught myself. But Rufio, come on. Don't hit Tink. Be better than this.
I mean, okay. To be fair, I think Tink probably is not the leader of the Lost Boys. She just hangs around the Lost Boys ever since Peter left. And keep in mind, in this universe, probably Tink didn't go with Rufio as Rufio's like second in command, as she would have been with Peter.
Right. Totally. I don't think that Tink is second in command in this situation at all. But I mean, like, still, Rufio, be kind to Tink.
Yeah.
Tink can mess you up, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Now, the flowers are smelling Peter Pan and give away his location because they like pop or they make noise, they honk, they do something. I'm not really I don't know. They make some type of this is where Peter is way of telling the Lost Boys.
They're smelling. They're smelling him.
Well, no, they smell and then they give like some sort of like indication.
My thought is they open up to that because they realize it's Peter.
Oh, okay.
Like the flowers are the first ones to like be like, oh my gosh, it's Peter. Like the nature itself of Neverland feeds off of the fact that it's Peter. That goes back to the Tinkerbell smell thing.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. I didn't clock on that, but thank you. Now, Peter somehow gets stuck in a half pipe of sorts. Is the best way to describe this thing. He also ends up on a board at some point in this half pipe. He goes up the ramp. He loses the board. The board proceeds to make a 3-point basket.
Yeah.
And then Tink keeps trying to get the Lost Boys to stop. They aren't doing that great at the whole stopping thing. And then the Lost Boys toss him the basketball and tell him to play. He seems all out of sorts. And then Rufio brings the sword down and stops right before hitting Peter and says, "You're dead, jolly man." Which, like, of all the insults, not the best, Rufio, but pretty decent.
I mean, there you go.
It's a middle of the pack, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very middle of the pack nickname.
There you go.
So, Tink implores that he cannot do those things, or he can't play simple games. Hook has his kids, and Tink needs the Lost Boys' help to get him ready in 3 days to fight. Rufio says he can't fly, fight, or crow. So if anyone says this isn't Peter Pan, cross the line. Peter crosses the line. Tink pulls him back and goes, "You're embarrassing me."
It's the best moment of the movie.
It's incredible. Tink's just like, "Peter!" Then all the Lost Boys cross over the line except for one little Lost Boy, who I am calling the first Lost Boy because I haven't learned his name.
That's okay. Do you want his name?
Yeah, his name's not really a spoiler, but if you can find his name, let me know.
I think I can find it. This is not a problem. But yes, the little Lost Boy. It's Isaiah Robinson. It is, and the role is Pockets. Pockets.
Oh,
his name is.
His
Pockets.
name is Pockets?
His name is Pockets.
Cool.
Because
so Pockets.
Yeah,
Don't tell me why. I'll learn why his name is Pockets.
No, I know, but that's his name, Pockets. Oh. I found out the name of the big kid that I really like.
Oh yeah, you can tell me that.
His name is Thudbutt.
Nice. So Pockets is the only one that doesn't follow all the other Lost Boys over. And, he starts grabbing Peter's glasses, takes them away, places his hands on Peter's face, kind of is inspecting him a little bit. He forces Peter to smile, and then he finally sees Peter, and he goes, "Oh, there you are, Peter." Some others join in, and then they say, "Peter, you've grown up. You promised to never grow old." They do welcome him back to Neverland. Rufio, meanwhile, not having it. Rufio's just like, this ain't Peter. Says that he has Pan's sword. He won't take it from me.
That he's the Pan.
Yeah, that he is now Pan.
There's this idea that I like about Hook. What I like about it is when Peter left Neverland, you get this feeling that he abandoned Rufio and a few of them. Because Rufio probably, is one of the Lost Boys originally as well. And that abandonment still hits them hard. So the fact that Peter's come back after all these years and he's grown up, that hits Rufio the hardest, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely think like Rufio and Peter have a history. We're going to learn what that history is.
Yeah, and I'm sad I'm not here for part 3 and part 4 of this movie because I love it so much. I know you have to have another guest, but this is the movie I love. I love this movie. I did
Uh,
watch the whole thing before I filmed with you, so
yeah. I mean, like, hey, I gotta do what I gotta do, and like, I appreciate you being here for this and like helping me figure out like what in the world is going on to start this movie.
yeah.
Because oh boy, is there a whole lot that happens. Now, some of the others come in, they do welcome him back and everything. Now, Pockets says that if Tink believes, then maybe he truly is Peter. And I do like the rest of the Lost Boys, like some of them, as Rufio and Pockets are having this conversation based on who says and who
Conversation.
hits.
It's an argument, sir.
Right. As they're having this argument, I'm sorry. The Lost Boys just keep like crossing the line based on who has made the more valid
Yeah.
point most recently.
And Thudbutt is totally one of them.
Oh yeah, he is. Now, Rufio asks if they will follow him against Captain Hook. And Pockets says, what is he doing here if he's not Peter Pan? He doesn't look happy here. And who are those kids that Hook has got? We got to give him a chance. Peter stands and says that they are his kids and that Hook is going to kill them if they do not do something, and just says, help me, please. And that's where we're going to stop the episode because that's as far as I've watched.
No.
I'm assuming we're going into a training montage, and I didn't know how long this training montage is going to be because it can be anywhere between 5 minutes and 20 minutes.
That's fair. I will say I love this moment in the movie, not only because I think the kid playing Pockets did such a good job, and you really see the innocence of youth in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The smile. It's the first time Robin Williams truly smiles in the movie. And I think
and he's forced to smile.
He's forced to smile. But that smile that Pockets was looking for was like, oh, there he is. And look how many, like, up into this moment of the movie, Peter's the old man, the frowner. And I think it's really interesting when we think about what makes somebody and what makes somebody part of somebody's life. And happiness and a facial expression, usually, yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Pockets.
Good job, Pockets. I loved it. I am here for it. I'm very excited to see what comes next. Obviously, I think I made this prediction. I feel like Wendy isn't going to make it out of the end of the movie, or the family is going to decide to move back to London to be with Wendy.
Oh, interesting.
I think that's what I was saying.
Other predictions for the movie?
Other predictions, I think Rufio is going to truly become the leader of the Lost Boys at the end.
Okay.
Like, it's not going to be an abandonment thing. So I think it's going to go that way. I can see it going one of two ways, right? And I'll tell you the other option, but I don't think this is what's going to happen, is that Peter, kids, and family decides to move to Neverland.
Oh,
I can see that. Like, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, I can see that as an option, but I don't think that that's what's gonna happen. I think what's gonna happen is that, like, this is all gonna go down. He's gonna win. Like, Hook's gonna be defeated. That's the nature of like good versus evil in movies. Usually, the good guy wins. This is gonna be a wild, different movie if Hook wins at the end of this.
The movie is called Hook.
Right, and Hook might, but I don't think Hook's going to win. I do think that the war is going to be close. There are going to be some casualties on both sides. I think having aged them up, it allows it to be a little more dark, and like you are able to lean into the darkness a little of the idea of a war and what it actually does to people. But also finding, like, I think there are going to be a lot of hijinks, and like the way the war is actually fought is going to be very fun, and it's not going to be fought like most wars that we think of.
Yeah, this movie really reminds me, and it's another great Spielberg movie, is The Goonies.
I love that movie.
And because Spielberg, when he does a movie with kids, he just has something amazing. I mean, today in my drama class, I had the kids watch the audition of the kid who played what's the kid's name in E.T.? Oh, whatever.
I don't know. I've never seen E.T.
I think it's Elliot. So it's the kid who played Elliot. You can watch his audition tape. It's 3 minutes. It's on YouTube. You can literally watch it right now. It's so incredible. And I had the kids, because we're learning about auditions, I had all my students give me a thumbs up if they think he got the part, because I paused it before Spielberg said he got the job, and a thumbs down if they think he didn't get the part. I had 3 kids say no, and the rest of them said yes. And we asked them why, and everyone gave reasons. And then I played. Then he got the part, and they all cheered for him, like as if the kid was in their class who got the part.
That's adorable.
And when I explained he was one of like 1,000 kids who got the chance to work with Spielberg, it's quite incredible. And I think Spielberg, while he did film mostly adult movies, I mean, you're talking about Jurassic Park, you're talking about movies such as Jaws, just fantastical, inspirational movies, beautiful film.
Well, I was talking to
but his work with kids,
some of my castmates in Oliver.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and the podcast has come up. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anyone that is listening, however you might identify, by all means, look forward to it, because soon some of this incredible cast of people that I have had the honor of being in a production in are going to be guests on this show. We've had discussions about it. We're just solely waiting for the show to be done, because we are all absolutely exhausted. It's a very high energy show, and we just are waiting for some schedules to line up. But like, get excited. Like, those are some amazing people that I've had some chances to work with.
Yeah, man.
And I'm really excited to have them on. But we were talking about Spielberg and how, I was telling them that like I'm doing Hook, and like this is where I'm at, and like I'm talking to them about it as I'm working my way through the show. And they were like, well, yeah, it's Spielberg. He has kids in almost every movie that he directs. They might not always be the main characters. There's almost always kids, and not many directors can work well with kids.
And it's a really interesting conversation about kids in film and media. I mean, we talk about children a little bit on Flip the Scripts if you watch our adaptation podcast, which is every Friday. So if you're watching this on a Wednesday where this one airs, please on Friday come back on this channel, or if you're on Spotify or wherever you listen to our podcast, Flip the Scripts is usually in our description down below, where you can join us for another podcast where it is just Ankit and I talking about adaptation. But we have had episodes where we've talked about children actors, the problems with them, the problems that come from working with them, and things in that nature. We've talked about it a little bit.
But also things that they do really well that adults can't do.
Which, we even talked about how aging up the characters becomes an issue. In our first ever episode, of Flip the Scripts, which was Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief, the movie version directed by Christopher Columbus, not the TV series that is on Disney Plus, mind you. They had
the TV series got approved for season 3 before season 2 aired, and I'm happy that they actually approved it before the kids get too old.
Yeah, let's hope it's good this time, because I did not like season 1.
I rewatched season 1, and I feel better about it.
Okay.
After rewatching,
I might rewatch it. Maybe I'll feel good about it.
But like, I think like we'll have a discussion offline.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's a way that you got to go into that. But yeah.
But I think one of the amazing things is we talked about how Christopher Columbus, after doing Harry Potter, was like, I don't want to work with young kids anymore, and decided to age up Percy Jackson up to 16, and we hated it. We literally talked about why it didn't work. So it's really nice to have Spielberg in this movie prove that working with kids is incredible. And who better to lead a cast of kids, because basically this is a movie just of kids, and Dustin Hoffman and the Pirates, of course, but Robin Williams, who is probably the most caring individual on set. I've heard there are stories about him on set, how he's so positive to work with, how he's always helping people. And this cast is so star-studded, but I think it's the kids that shine. And it's really amazing, because Harry Potter, it's the same thing. If you watch the original Harry Potter films, you have actors like Richard Harris and Robbie Coltrane, Maggie Smith, and actors such as that with 11-year-olds who've never acted before in their life. And you're like, wow, the 11-year-olds are stealing the show. next to these award-winning actors.
Right, and it's a credit, but like I think Daniel Radcliffe has said this multiple times, is he was like, the training that I got was just doing the film.
Mm-hmm.
But what I learned over the course of those 8 films, and he has said it, he's like, I will never do a film series as big as this, nor will anyone ever do a film series as big as this. I mean, like, you see it on social media now with the Harry Potter. Like, the fact that the final movie for movie 8, the poster was just the 3 of them with the words, "It all ends."
Yeah. The only
Like,
fortunate thing for me is, of course, from an adaptation standpoint.
look,
But
look, look, from an
now,
adaptation standpoint, different problem, right? And
now
I have my
there's,
issues with it from an adaptation standpoint, but I still love those movies
oh, of
for
course.
those
But
movies.
now there's an even bigger issue. HBO is making a TV franchise of Harry Potter.
We are not getting into that. Steven, if people want to find you on the internet doing different things, where can they find you on the
You
internet?
can find me on my Instagram. I mean, I'll post a little bit about stuff here and there. I'll post it in the comment section down below. But you also can find me right here on this channel on youtube.com/GoHopForge every Friday with this guy, Ankit Madhira, and me, the co-host of Flip the Scripts, talking about some crazy adaptation that we decided to do this week. Right now, I believe when this episode airs, we're still in the middle of Lovely Bones, and probably ending Lovely Bones Part 2.
I think that sounds right.
Going back into Series of Unfortunate Events the following week. So we've been having some fun with some series and franchises, but we have found adaptation is such a fun thing to talk about. I think Ankit and I have actually read more books this year and last year than we meant to, but it's been great.
I've read more books because of that show than I probably have in like 4 or 5 years.
You know what's crazy? I think, high school prepares you for that comparison for adaptation, like every time. But like, that was boring because you're forced to do the assignment. I'm enjoying doing this for our podcast.
I'm enjoying doing this. Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much, Steven. Thank you so much for joining. As always, listeners, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to join us next week when I have an amazing guest coming back and making her first
debut
on the video side of it.
Yeah.
She was on this show way back when.
Really?
Before talking about Fight Club. We are back with my friend Adoria Lewis talking about the second half of the movie. I literally just flipped you too.
Well, no, I did the second half of the movie for Fight Club. I did.
Yeah. And she did the first half.
No way. That's hilarious.
So I have flipped you two on this one by happenstance.
Yeah.
It just worked out scheduling wise.
I love the fact, and I just want to give a shout out really quick. Shout out to Servellon, our editor. And if you really want to support us, you probably heard it already before, and you'll hear it again after this episode. Please like and subscribe the video. If we get to 100 subscribers before the end of, on YouTube, mind you, if we get to 100 subscribers before the end of 2025, Ankit and I will be forced to do the Twilight franchise. We are at 51 subscribers right now, 51 total. We have 49 to go. And if we get to that 100 mark, Ankit and I will suffer through all 4 books and all 5 movies.
And I will do something special for this show as well.
Yes.
And I want to hear from you all. If you listen on any of the other platforms, thank you so much. If you could do us a big favor, just follow the link in the description and just hit subscribe. You don't even have to turn on notifications. Keep listening to it on whatever platform you want.
Exactly.
That's just where we're keeping track of the subscribers because it's the easiest place to know how, like, a set number. And that's the only reason. We love and appreciate every single one of you that listens to any other way. That is completely fine. But if you want to watch us suffer or do fun things, because here's the thing, I have seen the first Twilight movie and I have thoughts.
All right.
That being said, listeners, thank you so much for listening, and be sure to catch us next week. I'll catch y'all later. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Post Finale. Post Finale is created and hosted by me, Ankit Madhira. It is produced by Ankit Madhira and Stephan Nieman. The music is by Ankit Madhira and Megan Hutchison. The art is by Jarid Rother, and our editor is Servellon. If you like the show, please Follow us on social media at Co-op Forge, CO_OPFORGE on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook to keep up to date on everything that's happening with the podcast. And you can also follow at Post Finale Pod on Instagram if you just want updates for this show. Talk about us on social media. It really does help us out a lot. And thank you to anyone who has done this in the past or who will do this in the future. If you want to support in a monetary way and get access to some bonus content, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/coopforge. That's patreon.com/CO_OPFORGE. And all the money raised on that Patreon goes directly back into the show to make it a better experience for you, the listeners. We just want to create good content while not being in the red while doing so. And your support means the world to us. If you can support in a non-monetary way, that's great as well. Just tell a friend about the show. Word of mouth is the best way to grow the show, and it really does help us out a lot. Leave a rating or review, subscribe, follow on whatever podcast app you are listening on. If you're listening on our YouTube channel, Co-op Forge, please hit a follow. If you're listening on another app, if you could do us a favor and go hit us follow on our YouTube channel, it would help us out. If we hit 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel, we got a special thing coming out for you all. But until then, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Post Finale, and be sure to join us next week as we get on to more shenanigans. And until then, I'll catch y'all later.